The main question is, will there be a third Suicide Squad movie? Well, with plenty of enthusiasm, we were also eager to find out, so guys, here's everything we know about the third very anticipated Suicide Squad film. Will it happen? First things first, let's talk about the Suicide Squad 2 and its connection to the third possible film. The Suicide Squad was released this summer, and after its enormous success, fans have been craving for more of the franchise. The thing is, Suicide Squad 2 is both a reboot and a sequel to the first Suicide Squad 2016, since the film features a completely new story and brings back Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn and Joel Kinnaman's Rick Flag. So, will the story continue? Well, there are no official confirmations yet, but based on the plot of the second film, we might see another sequel reboot for Suicide Squad 3. Now let's get deep into the possibility of a third Suicide Squad film to explore what might happen in it. Just a fair warning, if you haven't seen the movie yet, there are huge spoilers ahead.
Is this thing a dog?
A dog?
Yes.
What kind of dog do you think
The huge potential and the Peacemaker. The Suicide Squad 2 didn't leave much space for a continuation of the same story. Instead, the film ended up with a post-credit scene that indicated the upcoming Peacemaker series, which features John Cena reprising his role again. Also, the film placed a storyline for a sequel in which all of the characters that survive can come back to go on another mission. The end of the acclaimed film featured the surviving squad members who defeated Starro, but just then, Bloodsport, portrayed by the amazingly talented Idris Elba, used the evidence of the US government's connection with Project Starfish to trick Amanda Waller, a character played by Viola Davis. She was blackmailed and Bloodsport talked to her and asked her to leave them all at peace, and if she doesn't do that, he'll simply release all the evidence. It's not like the film ends on a huge cliffhanger, but the sequence opens some possibilities for a sequel or a reboot. The Suicide Squad 2 finale is certainly enough for Warner Brothers to greenlight the next film. What's really good is that the film's director, James Gunn, revealed to EW he's been actually planning a sequel. I've had ideas. If I did a sequel, it's not like, hey, let's assemble another team and let's do this. It would be very different. He said there were 5 years between Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad, so let's see when we should expect the new film to be released, shall we?
Tired, Colonel. We need a rest.
Goddamn hobbyists.
We cannot stop. We need to...
The possibility of a spin-off. The good news is, while we wait for the third film to be released, we'll have the chance to see the new HBO Max spin-off series with John Cena back as Peacemaker. According to Variety, Gunn was really devoted to make a series in which Peacemaker will be the focus of the story. This spin-off will take place after the events in the second Suicide Squad film. Through the story, you learn where Peacemaker came from, Gunn said in the interview with Variety. He continued the announcement by saying that in the movie, Bloodsport talks about his father and what his father was like. That's the seed of the entire Peacemaker series, according to Gunn. So we get to see Peacemaker with his father, who's played by Robert Patrick, where he came from, what he's done, what that means to him, and where he's going after all of this, said the filmmaker. For those of you interested, Peacemaker will be released on HBO Max in January 2022. Now let's see when we should expect a third Suicide Squad film. Oh, before we continue, smack that like button if you haven't done it already.
We're on a mission. Easy, Inspector Gadget. Little drink never hurt nobody.
Except for the 1,000.
Suicide Squad 3 release date. If Warner Brothers decides to start the work on a sequel now, Suicide Squad 3 could be released sometime in 2024. But we also need to mention that so far, no official announcement has been made, and James Gunn is now really into the work on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But if the film gets a green light, what will this story focus on? Who from the original cast will come back to reprise its role? Let's find out. The Suicide Squad sequel. Cast. James Gunn gave a very messed up ending for plenty of characters in the Suicide Squad as he unexpectedly played with their fate, with about half of the characters in the movie losing their lives. The surviving characters that are expected to reprise their roles in a sequel are Bloodsport, Idris Elba, Peacemaker, John Cena, Ratcatcher, Daniela Melchior, King Shark, Sylvester Stallone, Weasel, Sean Gunn, and Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie. Viola Davis is also expected to reprise the role of Amanda Waller. But on the other side, there are Gunn's comments that his sequel would be very different, and this could mean that none of the previous cast will make an appearance in the next film. We can always get a group of totally new characters. What do you guys think about this? It's better for the film to stick to its original cast, or a new story with fresh faces would build a better narrative? Share your opinion down in the comments below.
Amateurs on one.
Suicide Squad 3 plot details. Now that Rick Flag is no longer alive, the story will get a whole new direction. As you all know, in DC Comics history, different versions of Rick Flag have led Task Force X in Suicide Squad comics. And this also happened in Warner Bros.' 2 Suicide Squad movies. So who's going to lead the team now? Well, as we previously said, the Suicide Squad's post-credit scene hinted at the upcoming Peacemaker TV series, which only proves that Peacemaker will be the one to lead the next Task Force X team. He's actually perfect for the role, and we can't wait to see if this theory will turn into reality. Enormous popularity. Based on the pieces of information that are available, we can expect a Suicide Squad 3 sometime in 2024. Also, we've talked about how half the characters lost their lives in the previous film, so this only opens the possibility of a fresh start. The lineups in which many characters lose their lives just left space for a brand new story. And yes, Gunn wasn't kidding when he said that he was allowed to remove anybody from the film. This also means there are only a few characters left alive at the end of the Suicide Squad who could return in a direct sequel. When you see the enormous popularity both films had, a third film must be guaranteed. Gunn took over writing and directing duties for the Suicide Squad from David Ayer, who served as the writer and producer for the first Suicide Squad movie in 2016. And as we previously mentioned, the Suicide Squad was finally released in theaters and on HBO Max in August 2021, almost 3 years after Warner Bros. Stated Gunn would be directing the film. The next film might include some of the main cast from the first film returning for the sequel, along with a variety of new actors and new characters, and of course, some amazing storylines and twists that will serve as a great plot.
People know everywhere I go, people know the bar.
The Suicide Squad and the future of DC. James Gunn did a great job with the franchise, that's certain, and in the process, he might have opened a whole new superhero enterprise. Although there's still no official announcement of a third installment of the famous franchise, the Suicide Squad can be a new door to the world of DC. And as we previously said, a spin-off is already set to hit HBO Max as soon as January 2022. Based on that, we have one truly important question: where the DCEU could be headed next. Well, a lot of fans were talking about the development of Harley Quinn and her next appearance in the franchise. Margot Robbie's third round as the Queen of Gotham City's underworld is highly expected, as she remains one of the most significant characters of the DCEU. Her films Birds of Prey and her entrance in the Suicide Squad prove that there's a great chance Robbie will be back to reprise her role again. What do you guys want to see in the next potential Suicide Squad? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed our video, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you never miss any of our videos in the future. As always, thanks for watching.